What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the price action for the market, how it may dictate NIO, what the news data and technicals are telling us about NIO, and why on earth NIO does have some potential to try to push up a bit as the days progress. But before I break anything down about this, though, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 4 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is actually pretty flat as of right now, but there's actually a good chance that NIO might try to actually rebound just a little bit depending on how the market holds up. And as long as the market holds up all right, NIO does have some potential to try to get a bit of a bounce. Now, why do I say that? Well, the first thing to look at is the fact that NIO did form almost what looks like an inverse head and shoulders like structure. And we do actually have this divergence that developed on the 5-minute time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, NIO is also developing a divergence. You could see right here, the price was dropping initially. So right here, the price was dropping and dropping and dropping, and the RSI was actually starting to pick up. So right about here. And then what happened was NIO came down and actually dropped a little bit before bouncing. And the RSI just continued to just push and push and push, so it did not actually matter too much. We also have a possible inverse head and shoulders like formation. It could actually try to get back to this 8.5 level, at least try to hold up for the time being. Another thing that's helping NIO would be the fact that the news has actually finally slowed down and actually posting some very negative stuff. It has been improving a bit, and also Tesla and many other consumer discretionaries are starting to push up even more. Now, when it comes to NIO has the second gen ES6 right about here. It just came up, and this is what's very important about it in the UK with the new platform and very, very good specs. Now you can see some pictures of it right here. Another very awesome looking car. Once again, very, very awesome stuff. And what's cool about it is the fact that this SUV has been gaining a lot more traction from different investors. It's now being compared to many different cars by Audi and also Mercedes. And as they launch more and more, we're going to be seeing it in different countries. We're going to see more exposure for it and more brand awareness for the company. NIO has also been very ambitious in a way where they're actually developing Formula race cars. And that's once again very cool for their next generation vehicles. And you can see right here, they're actually getting ready for the E World Championship. Once again, this is the 9th season. NIO has been an ever-present fixture in the Formula E. So very, very awesome news as well. NIO is improving their products, and they're actually trying out new products to improve on a daily basis. Now, as far as the share price goes, NIO has pretty flat volume. It's not a whole lot from there. But also, it's important to note that the short volume did increase a little bit yesterday, as we did see an increase in shorting as NIO dropped. However, what else is worth noting is just a couple of days ago, we saw about 9.69, almost 10 million NIO shares shorted in just one day. One of the highest days in which NIO was shorted. That just happened to happen. Now, this also led to NIO's price actually underperforming. This was also correlated with President Joe Biden curbing some investments that were going to be made in China by the USA and US companies. And this was also some negative news for NIO, and that's part of why NIO did sell off. There was also the news about NIO stating that they're not going to be participating in the price war that you could argue that Tesla essentially started. You could argue that NIO does not want to be a part of it, and that could benefit them, but at the same time, we'll have to wait and see how it affects their deliveries. Now, we're only about 9 days away until the month ends, so very soon, in less than 2 weeks, we're also going to be seeing NIO's delivery numbers. Also, earnings is coming out soon too. So lots and lots of different factors are emerging. We'll have to wait and see how this ends up taking the share price. Now, for NIO, I just want to note that we do have a possible inverse head and shoulders like development. We have a nice crossover on the PPO developing too. And also on the extended charts, we're continuing to see another range in which NIO is continuing to uptrend overall in the MACD. Now, yes, NIO did come down, but it did get a bounce from this area. And as Tesla continues to push, I think that Tesla has a lot of upside still left to it as well. If you look at the MACD, nice crossover, very, very nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. It looks to me like Tesla's going to slowly try to get closer to this 50 EMA and actually break above it to 170 plus by next week. And this could actually help NIO to some degree. However, NIO is also going to be dependent on the overall stock market. I just want to note that SPY is just pretty flat. Right now, we're about to close. What's important about this is, can SPY continue to get another drive up? I'm not 100% sure about how this is going to look, but I am seeing some bearish signals. I do believe we're going to get a big pullback, but I don't know if we're going to pull back from here or if we get one more drive up, one more push for 420 first, and then the real pullback happens like around May. But I am anticipating some downside in the future. As of right now, SPY is still holding up. We're still above 410, which is a pretty decent sign. The MACD is weakening though, so it is seeing some weakening momentum. We either start tanking here, and if that happens sooner than expected, this will negatively affect NIO, or we get another bounce, we bounce one more time, and then we get the tank later. If we get the bounce and hold up for another week, we could see Tesla and NIO continue to push up, and that could be a good sign for us. Now for the QQQ, and all of this will depend on earnings for next week, of course, but for the QQQ, it's holding up okay. We do have a possible divergence that was forming like right here, but overall it's not as strong as before. On the 1 hour time frame, there's another divergence. I think it formed, let me just check it. Right about here, we did actually see the RSI continuing to diverge from the price action right about here. And this is a very small divergence, so this is part of why the QQQ is pumping, but it doesn't look like the QQQ is looking very strong. That's one issue with it. Maybe Tesla, of all things, could actually help this thing pump a bit. If it does, that's going to greatly benefit NIO. The video is holding up. It's actually up 0.28% for now. Apple is just a little down, but overall it's still holding. For SPY, I'm sorry, not SPY. I just talked about SPY. For NIO, right, we're about to close. We're a little green. I'm seeing two possibilities. NIO likes to stabilize around this $8 area, so I do think it has some potential to bounce here. We're about to get a crossover on the PPO. If we're bearish, expect a retest of 8. If it fails, then 7.75 could come. If we're bullish, expect this thing to actually push for 8.5 and break above it to fill this gap. What do I think is going to happen? It really depends on earnings, the data that comes out next week, and other factors like that. I think we also have PCE coming out very soon. But anyways, what I'm thinking is we might see NIO slowly uptrend and retest 8.5. And if it breaks that, there's the potential gap fill possibility for almost $9. It's a real possibility. Make sure you are ready for it. And that's basically what I have for this video. The odds are actually looking pretty decent for NIO. And we did see a lot of shorts piling into NIO. Lots of shares were shorted. But that was just a couple of days ago. And if NIO does start to push up, there could be a small squeeze, a mini squeeze. Very possible. But I believe that a lot of shorts are entering for the more medium term. They're not just shorting for like 1 day out or 1 week out. And for the medium term, I do see some downside for the markets by May that can negatively affect NIO. So anyways, guys, thank you all for listening. If you're interested, I have some merch down below, above or below the comment section. If you want to buy a shirt or tank top that says "To the Moon," the offer is down below if you're interested. If not, it's completely fine. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. NIO to the moon, as the long term is still incredibly bright despite how many shares were shorted very recently. And peace out.